I'll bring this meeting to order for a special called meeting Thursday, November 16, 2023. Item number 1 on the agenda, approval of renewal of resolution declaring a local state of emergency due to Hurricane Idalia. Any discussion or a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Mobley.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Is there any further discussion?
I was talking to Don yesterday, and I think we might have a couple things that slipped through the cracks on our permitting. I'll let him, if you'd like to just talk about kind of the situation.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's going to get out of hand, because honestly, it's the first one that's come to me. But we voted as a board to help the folks out that were damaged by the storm, permitting and things of that nature. Got a unique one. Me and Ron was talking about it. The lady's got some damage to her house. There's going to be some work done for 6 months or better. And she has a camper on her premises, on her property that she can live in and wants to live in, wants to be there while the work's being performed and all this. But we didn't really cover the basis of waiving that $300 one-time a year fee for that. So if it's storm related and you guys are okay with it, I'd like to maybe add that to some of the things that we would be.
The RV permit fee.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as our house is being, fixed, repaired.
I'll be good with that.
And while we're on that subject, I got another one, the same kind of along the same issues, but deals with the RV thing. I talked to Ron about it. I don't know, is this guy belligerent or what, Ron?
He hung up on me, so I didn't get to finish the conversation.
Anyhow, the story is I hadn't been there to look at it, but his daughter was living in a house trailer next to his house, and the house trailer burnt down, and he's got 7 people living in his house, and he wants to put an RV there so until he can clean up the mess that's there from the burn up house trailer, and we don't allow for that under the RV rules and permits. So I'm suggesting maybe can we change the language in there a little bit to maybe have board approval for a special exception or.
Well, I don't know that we would go as far as making a text amendment.
Okay.
I don't know that you have that type of stuff.
Reoccurring or something.
I've been doing this for 22 years, and this is the only time I've ever had someone try to permit a temporary use permit for an RV on property they don't own. You know what I mean? Because the way the temporary use permit is set up is for the owner.
All right.
And that's kind of the way it's been applied through the years. But this is a situation of which it's not the owner. He's got 100 acres. Really and truly, all he would have to do is deed property over to his kid, and they can get whatever permit they need. But he don't want to do that. So what he wanted to do was get the 1-year temporary use permit for the recreational vehicle that is typically reserved for the owner, but he wanted to give it to his kid. But reservations that I had seen with that is that where is the cutoff? You know what I mean? I understand this situation because it's a burn. It's a house fire. But if you allow it, how many kids will you allow it for? Is it just allowed for kids? It falls under a temporary use permit that's allowed for the Land Development Regulation Administrator, which is me, to issue under these temporary use permits. When we do these 1-year temporary use permits, they don't require any type of board approval. You do have other temporary use permits that can be approved by the commission, but the process behind that is that temporary use permit goes before the Planning and Zoning Board first for an advisory decision, then comes to the commission. If people are okay with the time frames behind that, I don't have a problem with doing that and just bringing something to the commission under a temporary use kind of thing. That way the board looks at the condition or what they're requesting, and you make the decision whether you want to approve it on a temporary use or not.
He can get a 12-month temporary use permit? I mean, a RV permit now if it's under his name?
Well, it's not for him because there's nothing wrong with his home.
Right.
So that's what it is the avenue that we have doesn't allow for you to secure a recreational permit for someone else to occupy an RV on your property.
Well, that's why I want to bring it up so the board can talk about it and see where everybody.
And I can tell you that the language in the LDRs is I don't want to say a gray area. It does not say property owner. That's in my opinion, the intent and how it's implied. And that's how it's been interpreted for 31 years.
Well, and I
So-
get it. You don't want to start doing one thing for somebody and not for somebody else. So, I'm just trying to help them.
Can I ask you a
Yeah, go
question?
ahead, Don.
So I agree with you. I don't know that we need to change the whole, literature of it, the whole wording of it, but if it's a thing that the board can make a decision on, I mean, obviously their house is burnt down. Obviously they have nowhere to live, they have nowhere to go. They're probably struggling, just trying to get back on their feet. So I mean, as a board, if we can do something to help them out, I'm not opposed to that. But not putting it in writing where it's just a given thing. I mean, because someone will try to probably take advantage of that at some
Yeah,
point in time.
well, and that's what I want to try to avoid.
Right.
Well, it's not something that's prohibited. So I would say that. I would say that if this board makes the decision that they want us to issue that temporary use permit, then we would proceed with the permit process.
But we wouldn't have to change the text language to do that, or wouldn't have to change anything to what we already have set up?
Well, all you're doing is that there is language in there for temporary use. What you would basically say that is under the conditions that exist due to the effects of the fire, and that these people, what would be their options, right? I mean, they don't own land. They had their investment of their home. So where do they go if their home burns? If they have a recreational vehicle, the only where they could go is to a campground, right? So, in lieu of them having to go to a campground, then the board would basically just state that under the conditions that exist because of this hardship of this fire, no one plans for a fire, right? Then under this situation, the board would allow them to get that temporary use permit for 12 months,
Right.
to allow them to get that recreational vehicle for that usage.
So is everybody okay with that here?
Was the mobile home that burned, was it on the tax rolls, so the assessment was paid for it as well? To be fair to everybody? Because my point is, the fee was just to help offset the assessment by the generation of the fire, there's the emergency services, and then also the solid waste. So if the mobile home that was destroyed by fire was paying an assessment as in addition to the site-built home, then yeah, absolutely, I have no problem doing it. But if not, then you're saying, well, wait a minute, now we realize the problem that you had a structure.
shouldn't have been there
You had a
anyway.
structure on a piece of property that you did 2 dwellings and only 1 set of assessments.
I had
I
pulled the
agree.
property up yesterday. I believe that it was on the tax roll because I think I looked at a year of the mobile home. Give me just 1 second.
So I think if you had a double assessment, if you have both structures were paying the assessments, and absolutely no, I wouldn't have any problem doing it. But if it's not, then you need to address that, because if not, then
It's on the tax roll.
Okay.
It's on the tax roll. If it was not, when we issued like a well, I guess normally we would collect the assessment when we did the permit.
that would be the only thing that I would say going forward when there's hardships, is to make sure that it was properly on the rolls prior to the hardship, and then issue the permit due to the hardship, as long as both assessments were captured. Because now you're not shortchanging the other taxpayers, because wait a minute, I got 2 structures, he wasn't paying but 1. He needs to at least pay that person should pay the fee now, because now you got a whole other family out there that's generating services, or a need for service that's not being captured. So as long as that's there, I wouldn't have a problem doing it even going forward.
Single family residence is on the tax roll, and then the mobile home is also on the tax roll.
So do you need anything from us, or can you just do that?
If we get a decision of the board, I mean, I would think you would want to vote on it and basically have, that under the conditions that exist, that you would allow them to get a temporary use permit for the use of their child, to get the permit for the 1-year temporary use permit for the RV.
12 months.
12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a motion. I'll make a motion for that then.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Land. Let me just try to restate this for the record. We will be allowing a hardship permit for an RV for 12 months, provided that all conditions are met on the tax rolls and everything is done correctly to begin with. A motion by Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I guess I'd also make a motion to accept anyone that had damage from the storm and needs to be in their camper while repairs are being performed, if we could waive that fee as well for a 1-year term, same thing.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hale is stated, second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate that, y'all.
Well, I mean, Mr. Chairman, I think that's only fair, and as Commissioner Hale said, that same situation. I mean, you got folks that are gonna have to move out of their home due to the storm impact. Let's cut them a break and not make them have to go there and pay the fees. They're paying the fees and the assessments on the structure that was destroyed, so, you know.
Well, and I also went through Chris Ball's, trying to get us some help for emergency management, Red Cross, whatever. So I already started down that road too as well, so. Just trying to help them, you know.
I asked Ron about.
Can I ask one question? Is that temporary use permit on the fire damage, that permit, is it waived or is it not?
The fee?
Yes.
Yeah, on the fire, that was my question. If they had paid the fire, if they had paid the assessment, I would waive the fee.
Okay.
Because that's covering, that fee, that assessment is covering what part of the fee is covered.
That's all he can do.
The assessment is separate.
I did ask
The
Ron,
permit fee covers our staff side and our inspection
I
side.
wouldn't be one of my.
I would still,
I think what he was saying
Under
yes,
under a devastating circumstance.
And that's fine. I just want to be clear that that's where we were at.
under hardship, I think that the county should waive the fee for the labor and the paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Type of
He
hardship.
filed it.
And just to verify that the structure that faced the hardship was properly documented and had been paying the proper amount of assessments and taxes on the tax rolls. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Anything else?
Just want to bring up to speak on a couple of things. Mike was in an accident yesterday. He was,
I heard that.
and the truck. Really. Anyways, the guy pulled out, swerving all over the road, cut in front of him, and totaled his truck. So we're down a truck. We had the CI truck that we're going to put in operation. We got another truck that needs a motor. We're going to put them in that one. Now that Mike needs one, we got him in that one. So we hadn't got COG is looking for used trucks or what we can do for vehicles. We really need two, but I'm not ready to bring it to you yet. But we've got money in the fund that one fund is the Oxidine ditch that we have money setting aside there that we really haven't done anything on. We can pull money from that. We've also got the loader that we agreed to purchase last meeting that we can pull from that also. But just want to let you know, we're going to be looking for trucks, and we're going to bring that back probably the next meeting or so. So
You should get some insurance money from the from the person that caused the wreck.
Right. Well, our insurance will pay for it.
Yeah, no fault state.
Right. But yeah, we'll get some money from that. Hopefully get more, maybe more than what we paid for it, because then we paid $21,000 for it and had less than 10,000 miles on it. Brand new. I mean, which is unbelievable how the market for the trucks are. Speaking of that, well, anyway, just that's informational. We'll bring it back to you, kind of what direction we want to go with that. Share with the chairman the other day, but we met with Enterprise. And it was a program they've got, and Enterprise is not just a rental company. It's a bigger umbrella than that. To look at our whole fleet, look and see what vehicles we have, and what they're showing. The school board has gone to this, and other communities around us. Y'all do that too?
I bought two from Enterprise.
Okay. The idea is
they were off lease, and then we bought them.
Oh, so you bought them.
So the idea is they can sell us a new truck, I guess a new truck off lease, used. But what they do is look at our fleet and what we've got, what miles are, and there may be and you see this now happening where you buy this pickup truck for this price, you go to here and it's worth more than what you paid for it. You may want to roll that and sell that to get another truck that's newer. You do that rotation, and you wind up making money at the end over a period of time. So,
and I looked at the graph on it, and it takes, in my recollection of what I was looking at, a couple years to make it start really working, 2 or 3 years.
Right. But they're going to come in and do a presentation for us and look at what we have and look at the game plan. Certainly we'll bring that back to the commission for a discussion, but it's interesting. I know a guy that works for Parks took his 4 or 5 year old pickup truck, sold it, got more money from it, so he bought a new truck and was almost even, which is just crazy.
They do that with a lot of my customers, the used car lots and all. A little bit different scenario, but I have some that say they have great experiences dealing with them, and others say that they don't. So, but I'll dig into it a little bit deeper.
Well, I want to look at something to where we can maintain a newer fleet if it doesn't.
They're cautious about
Yeah.
One thing, Greg, Basketball Lake City puts a certain amount of miles in their pickup trucks, and then they turn them.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're looking for something in a hurry, they may have one they're ready to sell right now.
Okay.
I'll say this, you guys, I've jumped in a row with some of the supervisors. Most of those guys take care of our trucks. I mean, they treat them as if they're their own. So, have we ever had really any issues with picking up trucks?
Not really. I mean, we have that with our older trucks. I was talking about it yesterday, and when we got packs of hot sauce in the door that's faded out and stuff, it's like, so yeah. we're going to circle around and have that a different conversation. But they had another case where I was talking to one of our operators the other day, got in a loader, you got trash and stuff in it,
Yeah.
smelled smoky, and that's just not acceptable.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just want to let y'all be aware of that. Yesterday we had a meeting with DOT on the debris. As we move forward through the process, it begins to make sense as we go a little bit more. It's still the whole timing on how long it takes to do the trimming. We talked about that yesterday, and it's all about accountability of that amount of debris they're cutting, and they get paid by the limb. And I said, doesn't make sense, and they said, we know, but that's the rules we're following. We talked about the public access private roads. Glad Larry's here. Let me be clear. What we were told by DOT staff was their instructions were we were not going, let me back up. You got 3 categories of private roads. You've got the public access that like we have, which are majority that we have school buses going down, we got law enforcement, we got fire, we got EMS going down, and anybody and their brother can go down that road. Then you've got a lane going to somebody's house as a private drive or whatever that may be still be a private road, but that's that scenario. Nobody wants Travis doesn't want anybody to go down his lane. And then you got the gated communities that we can't get access to anyway, unless there's a major thing where we got to get in for a fire or something. And when I said that, they said that's just out of the book, and I didn't realize that the book said all that. But anyway, DOT's stance is this: the upper levels of DOT said this is where we stop. We're not doing any private roads. They said if they were to get other direction later, they could certainly pivot and do something different. So the conversation was, if they were to get word, from somebody else and it changes DOT's mind, then they
could go do it.
Right.
I think that when I was in Tallahassee Monday, spoke in front of the House Hurricane Resiliency and Recovery Committee, which is comprised of state representatives all across the state.
Right.
That was Suwannee, Taylor, Hamilton, Lafayette, Madison, Jefferson, Cedar Key, and Columbia. I may have missed one, but all had representatives there that spoke. That was a consistent complaint, was the public access private roads. And I'll use like Riverwoods and Dowden Park, all paved roads, paved streets, private subdivision, 137 site-built homes in there. $125,000 and up. 137 of them. Those are private roads, but school buses go in there, all this emergencies. I mean, some of those roads are better than ours, but you know, those folks are paying substantial ad valorem taxes as well due to the quality of the home and the, you know, the value, but that's considered a private road. So I mean, and the 137 homes with that amount of debris, and there was some other communities that had examples as well. It's like, guys, we you know, it does seem a little unfair to those taxpayers. Now I get the easement, the Little Pig Trail lane that two people live on, that's a mile long, that they don't, if you drive down that lane, somebody's gonna come out there and be like, hey, what are you doing on my road? Get out. I get that one. But anybody can I can go out there today and ride around, nobody's gonna stop me and ask me, what are you doing in here? It's completely public. So anyway, I think that, I say that to say that I think, from what I heard in Tallahassee, that hopefully there may be some.
Well, good.
Yeah.
But if so, it'll probably more than likely come at the end.
Right. The other things that we got from the meeting is the November 30th is going to be the last day of the first pass. And the message will be where we asked them to prepare a PSA for us with clear messaging so we can get it out to the public. So that's when they want everybody's debris out. They've already made they're already working on the second pass now, doing the logs and that kind of stuff. But November 30th is the magic day for get all your stuff to the road. Officially. They understand there'll be some things that trickle, and you know, they're prepared to stay as long as they need to, but looking at probably end of January is when they expect to be out of here. So I asked the question yesterday. I said, you know, I don't think you finished the first pass yet, but and we'll get more messaging out later, you know, to the public and to y'all officially, but we got to be careful in how the message gets out. We don't want people to panic. We don't want people to rush and not have a place to put it. It'll still be a process, but that message will be coming out soon. So, but they're looking at getting ready. Now we did have a conversation with them also about the city of Live Oak, the Christmas Square and things coming for the holidays, to get that taken care of. They're riding to get that squared away now. But the idea is so that they should start working on quadrants of the county to say, okay, this is clear. This is clear. And then Mike and Gene and LT and the grader operator, whatever, can identify other areas we can pass that on to DOT. But
is the quick capture, quick whatever it is that app still being utilized for isolated?
Not by them.
Okay.
I tried to use it the other day, it wouldn't take.
Okay.
The other day that we talked about yesterday too, of looking at GIS and different techniques, whatever, and the head lady over that said, for our application it does not work because you think it's clear and then something else comes. So, very good meeting yesterday, but we'll make sure that, you know, the guests coming into the city is going to be taken care of through the Christmas Square and all that. And then start with the city, then start doing quadrants, you know, throughout the county. Still, if you've got things that you are troublesome, let me know. That process is working well. I said email or text or call our guy from DOT. I usually get a call, you know, back from the tree company and said, you know, give me clarity on, had 180th. He called me about that, I guess yesterday about 6:30. You know, tell me about this road, where is it? You know, what is it? I said it's on the east side of 180th. So they should have got that yesterday.
They were working on it.
Okay, good. So the
God, just, Mr. I get the question. I know you and I spoke right before you went into the meeting. Anything about the fences that are getting damaged? And I know it's with no ill will,
Right.
it's just happening.
Yeah.
No malicious intent, but when they're picking this stuff up,
yeah, I just need addresses,
okay.
and they can get back and take care of that.
Okay.
So they are fixing the fence.
They should be, and I need to follow up with DOT on that. We didn't get there yesterday in our conversations,
Okay.
but they had to get to Hamilton County.
I think I've only got two that's happened. Two.
Well, I've had no complaints
circumstances.
on. I've seen some of it, but I've
Three.
And also like the road damage, where they put the outriggers down, they put the whole weight of the truck on it. You know, some of that stuff we got to get addressed too.
I actually had a gentleman had seen that, and I was on the phone with him. And, he works for a construction company. He went back and painted around it, and I called Mike and asked Mike to go take pictures and get you guys a record of that, because it was a whole road they went down, breaking the sides of the roads off. And again, I know they're not even thinking about it, but you need to. You know?
And we talked about it a little bit yesterday about, you know, they're just trying to get the job done.
Right.
And, you know, you've got, we talked last time about maybe tweaking the agenda some. I brought copies of the first page that you can look at, and just, you know, get your input on.
Looks good to me.
Looks good to me. Everybody okay with that?
Good with that.
Anything else?
Wanted to, Max here, so I thought I'd put him on the spot since he's visiting. As y'all are aware, or probably aware this way, that they've been inundated with a lot of extra permits because of the storm damage and stuff. They're backed up right now. They've been working very hard to work overtime and nights and things to get that caught up. They're making progress. I want to speak for Mac, but you know, they're working very hard to try to keep up and catch up. Any input, Mac?
The trades, and Ron's very aware, we talk about this at least every day. The trades permits, they are going down, but what's happening now is, as a result of the abundance that we had before the storm, then what we got as a result of the storm, and what we have coming in now, I have a lot of, I don't want to call them simple things, but daily tasks that the techs are falling behind on. Contract registrations, work comp and liability registrations, filing, keeping up on emails, and it's a daily struggle because I'm not there all day, but Ron can attest to it. There's not a day that goes by that the lobby's not full up there. And we have been trying to come up with things to expedite permits, possibly bring in outside help. I mean, I even had a impromptu meeting with Mark the other day because something came out about more staff and more room, but we're digging out of a hole. The biggest thing is just getting the cooperation from the public on some of it. And I get it. If it was me and I was walking in the Suwannee County Building Department, my project is going to be number one in importance. But what people have to realize is we have a whole county that we're responsible for. That's the biggest issue. The girls are working as hard as they can. We're making a dent in it, but if I had to tell you that we'd be fixed within a week, I'm not going to throw that line at you.
It's a bulk. I mean, like our trades we're trying to catch up quicker. So our trades have been caught up to at least like October 24th. So we're not that far out on the trades. Problem is, for example, we had a contractor come by and drop off 17 permits yesterday.
Advent Christian Village.
So 17 at one time. And we're continuing to have a lobby full of people. So when we're dealing with the customers, going through their applications and things like that, that's time that individual is not processing permits that are pending. So really and truly, the permits that we're able to get out are what we're doing after hours or in the overtime. The 8 to 5 is very hard to process permits because of the numbers of customers and phone calls and emails.
Question, I'm just talking about somebody temporary there at the counter do they have to know a lot to do that, to talk to them?
Yeah, there is, because there's general questions. You know what I mean? It's just somebody may come in with a simple question of, I want to do this kind of permit, what do I need? Well, you don't know what needs to be attached to that permit. Somebody's going to fill out an application and they're not going to have engineering, or they're not going to have trust diagrams, or they're not going to have product approvals, or whatever it is. So
prolong it is.
Yeah, so it's like, that was we've had the conversation, and that, we do have the demand to maybe add staff, but right now I can't pull one of my staff members to train a new staff member.
And we have 2 people that's not processed.
So we're just going to have to work through it.
We're working through it. Quenisha, which was one of our former techs, we kept her on as a casual employee. So when she finishes her internship and school that she's in, she's been coming in 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and usually working 7:30. But Quenisha's very good. She's able to pump out about 10 trade permits when she's there. So she's been doing that with it. That's been a tremendous help. So
it's even come to a point, and mine is not as fast, but it's one thing Marcy taught me before she had left. I even process applications, whether it's after hours or when I get back, when time allows. But and I think Ron may have gave you all the numbers. I know Maylene came to us last week before.
Well, I gave some numbers the month before.
October numbers, and it was record levels.
We were near 300 permits issued for that month, so that's extremely high. So
well, I haven't had any complaints in a little while now.
Well, what we get is the people, and I know certain commissioners have had questions, and I know a lot of this contractors use to pad their time frames. So when an individual comes up with an agreement with their contractor don't always turn that permit in that day that they lead them. And that's what we've been finding out, is that some people think that, I've had my last conversation with the contractor on the 8th. Well, we didn't get the permit till the 31st. Mm-hmm. So.
And I was one of those commissioners. I called him just yesterday and maybe a couple of weeks ago where, an individual said, hey, my permit's been in for 8 weeks. And then when you dig into it, no, it's been in for 3 weeks.
I'm ready to
we have certain ones that we process as they come in, but we have certain circumstances that we have ones that we try and take precedent on. We definitely don't get into favoritism with the public, but there are certain mitigating circumstances you have to.
Go ahead. No, that's all right.
I was just going to, is it just in the office that we're seeing the backlog? Are you good in the field as far as boots on the ground, getting out there and keeping up with all this?
Yes, sir. We're keeping up. We had a situation that myself and Ron, Mr. Scott's aware of it, that we took care of, so we don't have a problem in the field.
Okay.
That part of it's fine.
Okay.
But really, it's with the girls, and I got to give them credit. They're working as hard as they can, and
we appreciate them, that's for sure.
So-
It's kind of like a double work that you don't really ever see. It's like, you know, so if Mac done 15 inspections and Mike done 12 inspections, you know, when it comes in, it's setting up those inspections and also processing them, but then after the fact, it's the power releases and everything that comes behind those. And that is additional work that's still associated with that permit that a lot of times people don't really see.
Would it be advantageous to maybe reach out to Miss Betty in the library and ask that if some of her part-time folks would like some additional work to do clerical and filing and that kind of stuff, that y'all had some time for them? Or is that or what you're saying is no, it'd take too long to train them to even file papers?
As far as dealing with people, I mean, as far as like the filing stuff that they have, I don't think the filing system's that complicated.
No.
You know what I mean? We could probably have somebody that came in, even if we were, you know, to bring somebody in part-time or whatever, that can handle some filing things and things like that.
I bring up Miss Betty because I know she has a lot of part-timers, and they may would want, through the holiday season, might would want an extra 5 or 6 or 8 hours a week. You just come down there and so that your folks that are educated, your employees that are educated on how to handle the applicant won't have to sit over there and file papers or do whatever for 3 hours a day. They can come in and just boom, 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 boom. Hey, just put it in a stack because Susie will be here this afternoon and she can file it all the way.
Yeah.
It'll take you 10 minutes to train Susie on how to file it and where it goes.
Yeah, our permits are numerical. You know what I mean? So
Well, what
it's-
Miss Marcy? Just get her back part-time for a little while.
She ain't coming
I don't think Marcy says she's enjoying retirement.
Anyway,
She's
just
traveling
doing
a lot,
grandkids.
so, you know, we might task Vanessa, see if maybe she's willing, but one more thing to also keep in mind, like I say, we are digging out, it's just slow going. As of January, we will start the RV renewal process, so that's kind of going to add into some.
I want to be
side.
as caught up as we can by the time we
Yes.
get the first of the year, because that's going to be an introduction of an additional renewal.
I think the only way you're going to get there is someone's going to have to pump the brakes in the office and train somebody else for a day or half a day to help you do something.
Is there
or
anyone
part-time
from the
basis.
neighboring county that, well, they're all going through the same thing?
Well, you'd have to go to the east, try to
Yeah.
find somebody, Columbia or Baker, or go that way that didn't have the same kind of impact.
And not getting the weeds, we'll work through that.
Okay. We'll let y'all figure it out.
One other thing, just to show you, had the county administrator, county manager, county coordinator, where they are from Gilchrist County came in the other day, looked at our chip seal roads. Bobby Kaysen, a good guy. He and I have been talking over the years about different things, but looked at chip seal and they're looking at some plans. Talking about the hiccups we've had with chip seal, but Gene Smith and I wasn't showing them around and get an idea, but we're talking, and they had a contractor with debris up front, and they started with that, and then they realized, oh, the state could do this, and you know, they were lucky enough not to get hit very hard. So they said, we could do this for you, but the contract they already had, they was going to pick up the tab on the contract, you know, pick it up from that point on. The state was willing to do that, but the contract would be sitting a week, and that has an expense with it. So, you know, who's going to pick up that? Well, not DOT. They said, well, we can't pay that, so we're going to keep on going. But it's interesting watching the other counties, how they pivoted from having a contractor to let the state do it. You know, when we're looking at, you know, almost 800,000 cubic yards of debris picked up so far, and probably, you know, $15-16 million already that's cost to do that. That's before they start hauling out the mulch. That would have taken all our reserves, would have been gone weeks ago. So, you know, the decision the board made to go forward with that was very good. You need to, you know, thank yourselves for that guidance. So, but anyway, I don't have anything else. Anything else?
Anybody else?
Nope.
I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Land, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.